Om Shanti. Today I'd like to talk about the truthful heart, the priority of the heart, the purity of the heart. If someone says, I believe, or I'm saved, or I'm enlightened, we say prove it, but prove it to yourself, because we don't care. It's not good enough to say or show yourself to others. God will say, why are you showing yourself to them? If you truly know yourself, you know that you're a soul in a soul relationship, a personal relationship, the most personal relationship with God, the Supreme Soul. So you show yourself to Him in private, in secret. You don't show yourself to the world unless you're in love with the world. And if you're in love with the world, you're not in love with Him. So prove yourself to yourself. Yeshua says, but if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. If you truly know yourself, you'll know you're a soul in a soul-conscious relationship with the Supreme Soul. Soul-conscious meditation is the link to the Supreme Soul. So your soul as an eternal being and the Supreme Soul as the Supreme Soul become one. The conceptual relationship of the two things become one and dissolve into each other. So yoga is soul to soul, supreme unity, the soul conscious state. Not knowing who you are is that poverty. Not knowing that you're a soul, not realizing you have the potential to have a relationship with a divine parent. We're all actually designed for that, but we've got to turn away from the false self, from the worldly self, from the conditioned self, from false belief, the yearning for outside things, but dwell in the inside state, where the link to the Supreme Soul is. This yoga, the Supreme Soul unity, is the deepest emotion through the heart, through the truthful heart, the truthful mind, to the soul. And the heart and the mind are obviously entangled with biofeedback to each other. And the soul brings those two into alignment. The heart is aligned on the spine with the brain for a reason. They're meant to cohabit one another. So even the world's wealthy are in poverty too if they don't know themselves, but only the names of their objects, bragging about them, still hunting and gathering objects and objective ideas in the objective mind. It is endless. A millionaire's a bum sitting next to a billionaire. It just goes on, the outside comparisons. You'll never be enough through the outside pattern system. You're living in chaos of the objective mind, the left side of the brain, the objective hemisphere, the West, where nothing is enough because it exists on the outside. It's transient, it's ephemeral, it's in constant change, constant flux. It won't last. And so I don't think the greediest man wins, do you? Is greed the winner? I don't think so. The outside world is based on greed. You want to buy, drink, eat, wear, show an idea of yourself. It changes every second you look in the mirror, you're changing from a from an embryo to an old person. It's just constantly changing. It will always change. It will never be any different. It's finite. It's ephemeral and transient. The constant change on the outside, where nothing lasts. So the teacher says, what good is it to gain the world and lose your soul? Everything comes and goes. Everything you will eat will go. Every relationship you'll ever have will go because it changes second to second. Every idea of yourself will change and go because it changes second to second. Everything you could ever have will be left behind. Everything you can ever see will go. And greed is a soulless state without the soul. They're antithetic principles. They say that greed is good, and greed is good if you use your money wisely, for good. If you use your money for good, greed is good. But they're selling greed to you, and they're justifying their own greed, thereby their own lust for greed. They're trying to con you that greed is good for you. But it's not. It's destruction. You can only eat so much. You'll get indigestion because too much is not enough. Too much is not enough. Too much is never enough, and nothing is ever enough on the outside through greed. So greed and the soul don't mix, they're in opposition. The soul journey is the journey into the heart, the truthful heart, the full heart, which is the road toward completeness. The completeness is found inside in the eternal state. It's subjective, it's not objective. It's of the right hemisphere of the brain, not the left hemisphere of the brain. It is about the ancient Eastern knowledge, not the brand new West, subjective, greedy state. And it's about letting go, not accumulation. Accumulation, the accumulation of the Western mind is still hunting and gathering. It's not about gathering. It's not about accumulating. It's about letting go. So in order to fly, the bird has to let go of the safety of the branch, the safety of what you know, the safety of the way you dress, the safety of fitting in, the safety of being successful, the safety of having a relationship that makes you feel good and right. Because your feeling good and right always changes, as does your relationships with all things outside. So you don't know you have wings until you try to fly. So look within through the purity of heart, the pure heart, priority of heart, and the truthful heart. And Christ says when you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. Know the soul, know your origin, know your destination. Know that you are a soul, an infinite point of light, an eternal being, linked to the divine parent. As Shakespeare says, this above all things, to thine own self be true. Well, how can you be true to yourself if you don't know yourself? First you need to know who you are through awareness. It's the eternal awareness that reveals the eternal you. That's who you are. Once you've found who you are, above all things be true. Through the true heart, through truth. Your mouth can lie about everything. You can lie about yourself to yourself and to everyone. But the heart can't lie. And it's the heart that's weighed on the scales after this life. Because the truth is in the heart. And the truth stays in the heart. So we say that in the court of truth, beware your own heart might bear witness against you. The Gospel of Thomas says the kingdom is inside you and outside of you. So there's the you that's outside and there's the you that's inside. The you that's outside is what's known. The you that's inside is looking out. So there's the observer which looks, and there's the knower which understands what it's looking at. The knower that understands what it's looking at only understands through feeling. So there's this duality of the observer that sees and the knower that knows. How does it know? It feels about it through the heart. Without the heart, you have no mind. Without the mind, the eyes are just glass, the glass eyes. Because you see with your mind through the heart, all the eyes are the same. A lot of people, or any amount of people looking at one thing will have different ideas of the thing, will have different feelings about it. Because we're not seeing with the eyes, but we're seeing with the mind, through the heart's experience, through how you decide to think and feel about whatever it is you're looking at. So the look of the observer looks and sees, and the knower feels and understands what it's seeing. You, as you see, you become known of yourself through how you feel about what you're looking at, and that's the you that's you. How you feel about what you're looking at through the heart, through feeling awareness. This is the dual aspect that becomes one. The observer, the seer, the knower, the feeler, is the journey into the gnosis, the knowledge of the knower. So embedded within the same consciousness is the looker, the observer, and the knower. The eternal and as yet unknown self becomes realized when it is seen and known by the same self, through how it feels about seeing its own self. And this is self-awareness. This is self-awareness. The self becomes realized when it is seen and known by the same self. When it is seen and known by the higher self through the heart, the you that was you now becomes the old you, becomes the old self. In scripture, it becomes the old man. And the new self is born, the second birth, the new you, the new earth, the new Jerusalem. And so you're also known by the knower of all things, and the two become one. The knowledge just comes into you, the awareness magnetically, like a vacuum, draws the knower into you, and the two become one, the soul and the supreme soul. Become one consciousness, through soul consciousness, through the divine mind, which is now within you and born within you, and they commingle. So you can lie to yourself about yourself, but you can't lie to the truth. It is the X-ray vision that sees through every cell, every atom, every portion of reality, every second. They can see intention. They can see straight through your heart. They can see elements and particles. They can see through minds. They can see through all things and records all things. This is a quantum state. This is a quantum entanglement between the heart, the mind, the vision of the observer, and the knower. And this is the gnosis. So, you develop the same fragrance. It will be in the voice. It will be in the hearing when you've heard the truth. And it's proved by the living essence, the essence of your living substantial state in existence and experiential life. You live in His way, and you move in His footsteps. You experience life in the body. So the living essence of the one essence of singularity, when your soul and the Supreme Soul fuse in a great cosmic fusion into the one essence means to walk in his footsteps as best you can. You follow his footsteps. And the moral code of ethics, his words, become the path, the bridge across forever. The path you need to follow are the words. The words become the living path that you walk upon. We walk upon and live and inculcate his words, and this path leads to his house, the eternal house that he's prepared for you. He says, pick up your cross and follow me, and all the things that are hidden will be revealed to you. He says he's hidden the secrets, the secret knowledge, and the mysteries, and the wisdom. He's hidden them in history, so that only the seeker will find. You have to seek, you have to look. You have to look through the truth, through the truthful heart, to find the truth, and it resonates as a song in your heart and through the entire idea of yourself, through your soul. So if his words are the path, you don't stop in the middle of the path, you go on to the house. The path leads to the house, the eternal house. It is him, the house he's prepared for you. How do you get to live in the eternal house with him? You follow the road. That is his instructions all the way home. It's his moral code, his ideas, his ethics. It's his creation. He has shown us the way. He tells us he is the way. We know he is the way. It is the only way. There is no other way. What way? The Vesica Pisces. Through the centre of the Vesica Pisces in the two antithetic wheels, the outside and the inside, the above and the below, the night and the dark, the left and the right, the yin and the yang, the male and the female, the red and the blue, electricity, magnetism, the you that was you now discovering the new you. Everything dissolves and surrenders into the one soul-conscious space in singularity. The way into one essence, into one substance, into one heart. The pure heart exists regardless of outer appearances. And regardless of outer experiences, those outer experiences are ephemeral. They're transient picture patterns. They're stills in a movie, in a celluloid movie. You're the director of your own movie. And so don't bother so much with the outside. It's playing on the senses. It's a movie, picture theatre. But fold into the light that creates the picture theatre before the picture patterns have evolved. The outer appearances don't count. The looks of a person don't count. Don't make the mistakes of believing the superficial outside looks of things of the world. You know, we say, do you trust the shirt or do you trust the man? Don't be sucked in and conned either by spiritual people with shiny teeth flicking their hair around wearing white short, or anyone pretending to be anything, a really nice guy that's selling you a car. In the outside world, everyone's selling something, even themselves, and even love is for sale in the conceptual world. And so the point is to not logically prove things, but to reasonably understand them through the heart, through the truth of the heart. Your intuition will tell you yes or no. Go down that street, don't go down that street. That's the heart mind. It's not the conceptual mind. It's the heart. It's the emotional intelligence that works behind the scenes of all things in life. Those outside, the blind lead the blind through the unreasonable mind. They're buying and selling and living and dying. You can walk around the world and not be awake. The world is full of sleepwalkers. You know, they're stumbling toward the next goal, the next reward, the next pleasure. They're never knowing the knower. They're never really realising what completeness is. It's not outside. You can only eat so much, you'll be sick. You can buy so many things, you can't drive all these cars, you can't wear all these shoes. Having relationships with all these lots of people will drive you crazy. There's no value in quantity. It's the quality of the quantified self, and it is a quantum state. It's a quantum state of love in the heart, in the mind, and the soul. It's only the soul, the light of self-illumination. And the spirit is not exterior. And the spirit is not a big smile or shiny teeth, like I say. Romans 8:14 says, "For as many are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God." And we become small versions of the great sun. Small suns, shedding the light from the centre of the forehead through the earth. And it's the vibration of light. It's light without heat that lives within. It's not wearing a costume. It's not sitting in a position. It's not sitting in a certain place where everyone will see you. It's not saying, "Come and look at me." It's the invisible that changes the visible. And when the two become one, the living essence, the soul-to-soul consciousness no longer is separated by time and space, but they live together in the one idea, in the one divine mind. We're still humans that make mistakes. But his mind, Christ's mind, is in us, such as his unconditional love for us, mistake-ridden people. The heaven is within you, still. Within the earth, still. Though mortal and not perfect, the diamond still glows within the heart. The diamond heart. The truthful mind, the pure heart, the pure state. In this state, the above comes down to the below and cohabits and co-joins the soul. The teacher says, "I will come down and become the landlord of the house." The house is the temple is the body is the temple. And it must be sparklingly clean and pure. You make it ready for his cohabitation. Like a bowerbird, making your home as perfect as you can, hoping that the one will come and abide with you. And you do the best you can. And you take control of every aspect of your life. That's through the good heart. And he decides. It's a shock. His love is unconditional. It's unreal and yet real. So the things that seem unreal are the only real. Romans 8:24 says, "For we are saved by hope. But what hope? But hope that is seen is not hope. For if a man can see a thing, why would he hope for it? But we hope for that we see not. Then do we with patience wait for it." Well, this is love and conviction. And this is understanding. And what is seen? Well, the past. The past. You've seen the past. The past is seen. But the past is past. You've seen it, but it's no longer there. So what is hoped for? The unseen. Well, what's unseen? The future. The future is unseen. In the same way we hope for him, for enlightenment. But it's not just sitting on the couch waiting and hoping and demanding from time to time to prove yourself. You have to get up and move forward to approach the thing you seek and hope for. It takes self-discipline. It takes the courage of self-discipline to grow and to let go. To let go of what was, which is the past, which you can see, and step forward into the unknown, guided by the love of the heart. And it is magnetic. You stumble into the dark and then you realize you're not alone, that someone is waiting there for you. The divine parent is always there, can see all things at all times, and is pure love. It is where our concept of love emanates from. It's the divine essence. You must work in pranayama, in the breathing, in soul-conscious meditation. You must study the scripture for the vibration to become entangled through the heart and the mind. In the moral code of ethics, in the hope of goodness, in compassion. And all of these equal the wisdom. The wisdom. This is the wisdom knowledge. You have to work for it. A swimmer practices, an athlete practices, an artist, an archer practices. You must practice the art of self-realization. You must walk toward the sun with the moon in your heart. You must work at marrying the two into one. The symbol of the sun is the image of the light that waits for you at the end of your life. The pathway to the eternal house where the sun lives. The light of the world. It's exciting, it's tiring, it's exhilarating, because the work on the path never ends. You're constantly polishing yourself up. This is the road of alchemy. We're polishing out the basic instincts, the old patterns. We're becoming new and shining like gold. Not fool's gold, but gold from the light of the sun. In Kabbalah, Kita, the light, the golden light, the true pure heart is a crystal, and this is the ever walk, the bridge across forever into the golden highway, you might call it. And it is how you develop as well the field. The energetic field, the aura, the Merkaba, in an endless moment of infinite space. And all the passion designed and determined inside of you, no matter where you think it belongs, you yearn for the eternal parent, you do. We're designed to yearn for the good, for things to be better, for us to be better. We strive to develop ourselves beyond our own ideas and into the greater good, into the great good, the greatest good, God. Only God's ideas are good enough. So there is something higher, there is a higher help, there is a consolation, there is higher more reasonable meaning. There is a love that makes sense, there is a comfort. Believe me, it's there. It is there, and it is there for you. So the heart is constantly engaged, or rather entangled, in a two-way communication with the brain. They send signals to each other. The heart, and obviously heartbeat, is linked to memory and visualization. The visual image seen or imagined creates the same reaction as if you're looking at something. You're going to have this heartbeat reaction through the feeling of it. Close your eyes and visualize, you have the same reaction. So we follow the true heart through the invisible spaces, through the dark into the light. If I'm sitting here completely calm and imagine how furious I am at someone or something, my heart will begin to pound. Yet I imagined it. Remember, imagination is the birthplace of creation and reality. As you imagine, so it is. As you imagine, so it is. So your heart and all organs are in a chain reaction. To vibration and the images, the imaging. So the mind and the imagination and the heart are all three entangled and are in a state of quantum entanglement. An emanation is produced that's tied to consciousness because it depends on awareness, the awareness of eternity.